Hello ladies and gentlemen and movie lovers of all kind, and welcome back to the channel. As always, I am your host, Brett Murphy, and for today's video it is going to be another new movie review. And I am going to be reviewing The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. So The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent is the new comedy flick where Nic Cage plays Nic Cage. And in this movie he plays a version of Nic Cage that is a little more washed up, I would say, than the real Nic Cage, and definitely a little more over the top, who has fallen on hard times and has decided to retire from acting and accept a $1 million offer to appear at the birthday party of a superfan who happens to be played by Pedro Pascal. So, did they happen to strike comedy gold, or is it just a big fat flop? Well, we're about to find out. Of course, just like with all of my new movie reviews, this will be 110% spoiler free, so you can proceed with confidence. Before I hop into the actual review itself, I just wanted to let you all know that I have an entire playlist dedicated to all of my new movie reviews, so be sure to check that out, and I guarantee you'll find something you like. And so without further ado, let's hop right into things. So the first positive up on my list is Nic Cage. Yeah, Nic Cage. That's the positive. This may very well be Nic Cage at his most Nic Cage. He plays an eccentric, over-the-top version of himself, and it is just glorious. I already loved this man and all of his wonderful weirdness before this movie, but he definitely kicks it up a tick to play this wacky but simultaneously down-to-earth version of himself. I loved it. The next positive is Pedro Pascal. Yes, once again, that is the positive, the man himself. Look, I love this guy too. I think he's marvelous in every role that he's in. Whether he's starring in a big action movie, or whether he is in something like Game of Thrones, or playing a more reserved character like Mando, or a far more comedic role like this. The dude just nails it each and every time. And who would have ever thought that putting these two together would make the perfect duo? I bought into their friendship, I bought into their feelings for one another, and I thought that their chemistry was impeccable, and that's exactly why this movie works so well. The next positive up on my list is that this movie is just flat out hilarious. I really mean it. I haven't laughed this hard in a movie in a long time. I personally was cracking up pretty much the whole way through. There's also a bit of action in here as well, and it's fine, like it's serviceable. It's not a big action movie, there are just some action scenes, and they work, like they're fine. There is also a surprising amount of emotion woven throughout this story as well. There were certain beats in this movie where I was actually really feeling it, and that surprised the hell out of me. I went in here expecting a straight up comedy and nothing more, but they delivered some real drama and some genuine emotional moments that I just did not expect at all, but definitely welcomed. There are definitely some really strong themes in here as well, like the life of actors that audiences feel are washed up or past their prime, and just what that's like for them, the actors themselves, as well as a peek behind the curtain on what actors' relationships with their families could potentially look like, and what real life is like for someone who is in the film industry and is working all the time and gone away and all these other little things. And I just really appreciated all of that, even if some of it was definitely over dramatized and definitely a little more over the top because it's supposed to be, you know, Nic Cage and stuff like that. But there are some real genuine themes that I thought were well explored here too. Now sadly, I do have a couple of negatives with this movie. First is that this movie's villain is very weak. I don't want to or plan to get into spoilers, obviously, but the villain reveal is very weak, and the villain themselves too is just weak and forgettable, honestly. And the only other negative I have with this movie is that I just felt that it was a bit too long. It clocks in at around an hour and 50 minutes or so, and I felt that could have just been tightened up a little bit. Because with that, I felt that the final act was a bit too dragged out, a little too predictable, and just kind of generic. At the end of the day though, I had such a good time with The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. Yes, sure, I did feel it was a little too long, and the movie's villain was very weak, but I laughed the whole way through. Nic Cage and Pedro Pascal were both excellent as individuals, and they were the perfect comedic duo. I bought into their friendship, I bought into their relationship, their feelings, emotions, all of it was very good. And with that, there were some surprising emotional beats as well as themes that I thought were actually pretty well explored. This movie was pretty much exactly what I expected, and I am thrilled and pleased to say that. So with all that being said, I'm going to be giving The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent an 8 out of 10. So that is all for today's video, folks. Be sure to let me know down in the comments if you agree or disagree with my review. While you're at it, feel free to let me know what you would have scored the unbearable weight of massive talent out of 10. If you enjoyed that video, be sure to hit that thumbs up button. And if you'd like to see more content, consider subscribing to my channel and ringing that little bell icon. That way you can be notified about all of my latest uploads. And as always, stay safe. Thank you so much for watching. And that's a wrap. Hey you, yeah you, if you made it this far, just know I appreciate you. And while you're here, consider hitting that subscribe button.